Welcome to the Chevy Nova 7374 Nova Show, or Nova Hour. It's been a long time since we've gone together and talked about Novas. And I got to apologize. A lot of that's my fault. I haven't been very active on Facebook this summer as I've been very busy with the cars and having a summer because, as most of you know, last year I didn't have a summer because of the assassination attempt by Team Blue, and spent from the end of May to September with my foot in a cast. So needless to say, I didn't have a summer last year, and we had a brutal winter here in Winnipeg. And yeah, so that's basically it. I just see on Facebook here they've once again changed the layout again, so please bear with me as I try to make this video entertaining and that. I've got it going on a couple places here just to make sure that things are rolling. I really should have done a test ahead of time, because good old Facebook likes to change things on us, and not always for the better. So if you're in here, do say hi. I'm not sure if these stats are up to date or not, but we'll wait a few minutes for people to get in. While we wait those few minutes, let me do the introductions. Of course, I'm David Meyer, one of the admins of the Facebook group Chevy Nova 73-74. Our founder, William Hamlet, and other admins include Craig Iben, Rex Koflak, Kim Nova Girl Whiteacre, and our moderator, David Williams. Those are the people who keep this group running, keep this group flowing, and just and take care of everything. And it can be a bit of a handful of times. As you know, one of the main rules we have in our group is no profanity or swearing. So we do get notices whenever something like that comes up, and we do try to reach out to the user and ask them to edit their post, because we don't want to remove your content, but we do have to be mindful of some of the members we have. And we do have groups of younger members on our forum from high schools who are partaking in Nova restorations in their automobile class. So to try and, I guess, shield them a bit from the profanity of the outside world, we've taken it upon ourselves to try and keep this group very clean. So, of course, number one rule, respect. Please respect, even if you don't agree with other members' opinions, with their modifications, with their builds or whatever. Hey, everybody's different. Everybody's got different tastes. I myself, for example, I like the 73 front. I'm not one for the front end swappers, but got to respect everybody's builds and everybody's cars. And whether I like it or not, they are welcome, and welcome to partake and post and everything. Absolutely no bashing of cars will be tolerated. That goes without saying. No foul language. We already talked about that. The posting rules, we do limit our group to 73-74 Nova content only. So if you're talking about Novas that are 75 to 79, your posts may be removed, or 68 to 72, unless it partakes and involves a 73-74 somehow. For example, the overflow bottles from a 75 to 79 Nova fit beautifully in the 73-74s, and you can use them. So, we could talk about cross-referencing parts, stuff like that. That is, of course, allowed, but the content's got to be mainly 73-74. Be kind and courteous. No hate speech or bullying. Yada, yada. No promotions, politics, or spam, please, in the forum. And that goes to show you don't get any of that, because our moderators and admins are right on top of that. To be a member of our group, of course, got to be a member on Facebook. We do ask that you have pictures of your Nova available and set the public on your profile, so we can make sure you are in fact an owner of a production year of 73-74. We are big on making this a owners only kind of group. There are other groups out there for the enthusiasts. For example, 73-74 Novas. That group is wide open to all, but this group, Chevy Nova 73-74, is locked to owners. Should there be any discrepancies, of course, so you could email it admin if there's certain kind of situations or a special situation. Please reach out to us. We are decent people, and some exceptions can be made. So I'm talking to that. Let's go back, and I see I've got one viewer, but no comments yet. So let's see if they want to pipe up and say hello. Greetings and welcome. Today is Wednesday, right? I got to make sure I'm doing this on the right day because it wouldn't be the first time I've done something on the wrong date. So if you're here, please speak up. Of course, it says I got one viewer. I hope that's not my laptop sitting beside me. Oh, here we go. Brian Williams, how you doing, sir? Welcome. You are the first and only. Welcome to the live stream. It's been a while since I've done this, so I can see why there's not many people here. You know, it'd probably be something better if I had it like every second Tuesday or on a set schedule, but it's just kind of on a whim. Welcome, Brian. How you doing? How's your Nova? What are you doing to it? What are some of the builds or fixes that you're doing? Oh, here's another person. Dean Hahi. Hi, how you doing, buddy? Oh, yeah. And Brian's confirming that it is Wednesday, so that's good. So at least I made it on the right date here. Now, how the heck do I scroll on this new chat? Big Green looks good. Oh, thanks, Dean. It's been nice to actually drive the car. It's been, knock on wood, relatively trouble-free, pain-free, other than I have a small leak in the shifter seal, the selector shift seal on the Turbo 350. But I just got the car together, and to fix that seal, I got to pull the header out, and I just don't feel like taking it apart. It runs. I'm just going to add fluid, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm starting to, get some confidence in this build, this 421 build, of course, by Dan Clem of Racing Engines. And as you heard there, my air cleaner is still catching on the back of my hood. Not sure what I'm going to do about that, but right now I've cut the lip off the back of the air cleaner so it doesn't hook and bend the lid because I've gone through a few lids. Thankfully, they're pretty cheap at about $15, $20 at Summit, but it's starting to add up. Car's been running great. I was having trouble again with oil leaks and sweats out of various parts. I did put the PCV back in and hooked it up at the back of the Sniper for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a dry catch can system. It looks like the catch can system I have been using before, where we had these two catch cans. Let me go grab one here. Oh, please forgive the mess. I've been parting out. I bought another Nova a few weeks ago and been parting it out, so it's all over here. But the catch can system I have been using, one on each side that goes to my valve covers. What's happened is, even though the pressure is, it's free flowing, there's nothing drawing the pressure out, and that's what was causing some of my leaks on the oil pan, the dipstick, and the sweats I was getting in various areas. What I'm told is I need a catch can that is closed so that it the vacuum the fluid will fall into here, and then the vacuum will then take it out. So I'm going to be looking at a new catch can system. Of course, it's probably about $150. We're just throwing away here, but whatever, that's part of hot rodding, of course, and part of working on stuff. So I want to do that because I don't want to suck all this liquid and crap and gum up the Sniper unit. So for now, I've left it like this. I've been driving it. I haven't run it at the track yet, as I've been busy racing the Slomega. If you guys are part of the X-Body group, I did post about my adventures last weekend. So yeah, the Nova's running good for a change. And yeah, Team Green is strong. And Brian Williams is picking up some doors this weekend. Awesome. I ended up getting a nice set of doors off a 73 Nova that I bought. A friend of mine bought a Nova back in, what years? I got pictures up in the garage there. It was like 2000. Let me go find out here. Oh, crap on the floor. When did he buy that Nova? course, I can't read my own writing. I'm going to say it was roughly 2011 when he bought the Nova. And he started working on it and ended up getting heat stroke, got ill, and then other things in his life came about. And he decided to part out the Nova. He never did get it together. And let me see if I can find a picture here that I could show you guys. Okay, let's go here. Photos, Novas. Oh, you know what? It's probably under cars because it's somebody else's Nova. Okay, no, it wasn't 2009. Oh, it wasn't 2000. Oh, here it is. Yep. April 2011. He bought it. So let me just take a picture of it here, and I will show it to you. Okay, because I haven't figured out how to show other stuff. So my friend bought this car. He started working on it. He started restoring it. He cut the floors out of it, and then just kind of lost interest. Life came about, and so this car sat. Here we go. Let me just go back to my other screen. So this is what it looked like. So a few weeks ago, he's been trying to sell it for a while, and nobody was interested in it for the price. So I ended up buying it off of him, and I kept the fenders. The fenders were actually mint, and this driver's fender actually will be an excellent replacement. Although there's not much damage on this one still. I may use that one because it's OEM, but my big thing is I got to pull this lip up to pull the extension out. But I think I'm just going to get that orange felt fender fixed up, and I'm just going to throw that on the car. And also the doors on this were minty too, so I have a nice minty set of doors. Of course, I have a couple sets of doors because I bought the set of doors last fall off an Omega S. So we got lots of parts for the cars here in the garage right now. And hey Lou, how you doing, buddy? Welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. How are you doing? How's your Nova? I noticed you've been attending some car shows there with a lot of other red cars in your group. That's pretty cool. And what else is going on, folks? As I mentioned, I haven't raced the Nova yet this year, but my dad's racing the Omega again at our local track at Interlake Dragway. Getting a little warm in here. It's what? 26 degrees Celsius. So let's, it's getting hot in here. Woo! Because we got a hot show. Okay. Oh, what's this? I just got parts falling on the keyboard. So Dad's been racing the Omega at Interlake Dragway, and he's racing the No Box, and he's currently in 3rd spot right now. So he's actually doing well. So I've been taking the Omega out. I can only drive one car at a time, so you can obviously see my dilemma. And Lou's just talking about he's doing a trans upgrade. He's going to be putting in a 700 R4 over the winter time. Pretty cool. And Brian says it's been slow with the heat there, not getting much done this summer. We've had a few heat spells here, Brian, and we're talking like upwards of almost 40 degrees Celsius. Alexa, what is 40 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
40 degrees Celsius is 104 degrees Fahrenheit.
So in the high 90s, low 100s, we've had some heat waves like that. And I got to tell you, boy, does the heat suck the life out of you. But again, I'm trying to live 2 summers, and I just carry about 5 or 6 shirts with me when I go out. And when I sweat through them, boom, new shirt comes on. Speaking of shirts, Outlaw Racing Fuels in Florida. Thank you very much for some t-shirts. So I'm kind of wearing them to show them off. And thank you very much for some t-shirts. They're the fuel supplier for Jeff Thompson's 73 Nova. That I'm not sure if he's still in our group or not, but he is active in our other group, the 73-74 Novas. So I got to say thank you to them for a few shirts, and of course black, so it makes me look slim. Yeah, good. And yeah, as you can also see, the license plates have changed on the cars. I posted that earlier. I now have collector plates on my cars, so they're insured at a higher value, and I'm paying almost half the cost of insurance. So I'm pretty happy about that. And now I'm not limited to the 6 months of the year from when I registered in spring to the end of September. Now I'll be able to go to end of October, November, to whenever the first snow falls. As far as I know, Lou, Jeff was out of Facebook jail, I think, last week, unless he's another visitor of it. Oh, I tell you, Facebook, if you're watching this, you got to quit messing with these options and adding these new features to our group, because you're destroying it. We've taken a lot of time to build up a topics reserve of what's that word? Okay, a collection of topics on various things of posts. We spent a lot of time sorting and indexing these posts, only for Facebook to come up with some new great feature that just messes everything up. So Facebook, would you please stop messing up? Man, you really frustrate me sometimes. Not to mention, again, the live dashboard has changed on the video, so I can't even see what's going on half the time. And Dean, what's your reason for not having your Nova out, man? And this past weekend, I drove the. Sorry to get off topic. I drove the Omega out to Altona, Manitoba, where we had the 18th annual Legends charity drag races. It was only an 8th mile, but I tell you, that car at about between 3,500 and 4,000 RPMs, which I kind of held it to just over 60 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour to keep up with my friends. It then got up to almost 200, in between 195 and 200. That car just ran on par. Mechanical fan, 4-core rad, sorry, it's the old rad out of the Nova. That car ran like a champ, and even the Nova, with the heat we've had this past week, it's run steady at 190, 195 with the electric fan setup. Oh, so Dean's just been too busy to drive. Isn't it? It's sad how fast summer goes by. I mean, before you know it, it's like, what happened? Where'd summer go? I know summer really passes fast for me here in Winnipeg. I hate it. And then, of course, winters drag, but winters can be 6 to 8 months, depending. All right, so Brian is getting some doors for his Nova. Lou is getting some 700 R4 he's putting in. I'm assuming you already have that built. And I believe you got to change the cross member and the drive shaft, but that's probably already been probably been taken care of. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool, Lou. Got a compliment over the weekend about the stock look. Even though it has cosmetic upgrades, it still looks stock. I'm happy to hear that. That's always cool, too. That's one thing I've always tried to do with my Nova. I try to keep it as stock looking as possible on the outside. Like, even with running the hubcaps, I'm kind of toying about taking the keystones off. But the keystones look good, too, because it adds a little flash. But I try to keep this looking as stock as possible. I, too, have some cosmetic upgrades. We got the clear lenses. We got LED headlights. That's pretty much it. Oh, and on my parts cart, I got an extra hood emblem. So I'm umming and ahhing about putting this back on where it should go. I know a lot of people like the shade emblems, but I like to leave the factory ones on. But I'm really thinking of cleaning this up and putting this on the hood. Of course, this only year of this emblem was 73. And if you ask me, was the nicest of all of them. Yeah, it's always nice to get compliments. I've actually had a few people pull up beside me and give me dirty looks and comment about how I'm killing the environment and that whether they drive their hybrids and their Priuses. But I just kind of rev it up and go, yeah, but listen how cool it sounds. And that usually pisses them off enough, and then I usually hold the revs up while I'm beside them to give them a headache. So, yeah. And then one car one guy called my car a beater. I said, well, you're not too pretty yourself, and that quieted her up. I mean, I'm a sensitive guy. You know, I'm sensitive about my car. That gear star built good for 475 horse, right on. So of course, Lou, when you're doing that upgrade, make sure you take lots of pictures for us. And let's see, oh, we only got 5 viewers today, so it's kind of going to be a quiet night. Hopefully we can drag this out for an hour. What else you guys want to talk about? What kind? Oh, one thing I was talking about. Now, I'm bad because, like I said, I haven't been very dedicated on the groups because I've just been living life. But one of the topics that was discussed was in 74, seatbelt retractor covers. And amongst my parts, I have discovered that there seems to be 2 different styles. Well, let's see which ones are in my 74 again. Okay, make that 3 different styles. The 2 I have here, as you can see, one's kind of flat and one's a little bit dished. And it looks like the ones that have the dish with them are for 74, and maybe these ones here are 75 to 79. Now you see, now this one, yeah, see, these ones are round in general, and they don't have a curve to them. So I'm wondering if these are even Nova ones. If they are, they're going to be 75 to 79, I'm guessing. And then these ones here, as you can see, little bit of a curve, but looks like these ones here are the 74 ones. You know what? Where are my original ones? Don't have to worry about that in 73 though. Oh yeah. I'm gonna call these deep dish, but these are the original ones in the Omega. I put black ones in there because I'm gonna be slowly changing the interior over to black thanks to that parts car. But you can see here, you know, they got a good deep dish to them. That's what I'm going to call it. Whether that's the right term or not, who cares? So I'm going to say these ones here that aren't so curved are going to be later gen 75, 79. And these ones here that are an odd shape, I'm not even sure what these are from. I thought it was a Nova, but I think I might be wrong. Don't tell anybody. I don't want to getting around that I'm giving out false information. There. Ah, yeah. Dean's got a bench seat. Yeah, I got benches in both my cars as well. I love bench seats. You know what? We should put a poll up. What do you prefer, bench or buckets? That's a good idea, Dean. Right on. So there we go. We actually talked about something on the cars. But yeah, I just whenever I part out anything, I try to keep everything because you never know when you're going to need a part, or when a friend needs a part, or when you can sell them for a few bucks. Speaking of selling parts, I think I'm going to have to start doing that soon because it's getting a little full in here, and the Nova needs a new rear end. Doesn't need a rear end, but I'm saying it. Yeah, no, it needs a rear end. It needs some stronger axles. I'm still running the stock 28 spline axles with a stock carrier in it, and I'm not sure what this motor, this 421 is putting out for horse. May actually get a chance to dyno it, so I'm looking forward to that. All right, so all right, we're Dean says bench, Lou says buckets. Brian, you could be the breaker here because right now I'm going to say bench, so that's 2-1 over Lou. And Brian says he doesn't have retractable lap belts. What year is yours, Brian? Because you should have retractable belts. What do I got here? Let's see. I know I got some belts over here from demo. Yeah, because the belts for 73, I don't have any rear seat belts. I was hoping to make a complete kit so I could sell them. But yeah, the front ones are retractable. Only the middle ones and the shoulder belt aren't retractable on the 73. Oh, Steven, hey! That's a way to make an introduction and tying things up with the buckets. So we got two buckets and benches. Right on. So Brian, you got a 73 custom. So yeah, your shoulder belts, those don't retract. Those are the non-adjusting kind. But the lap belts should be retractable. But yeah, if I could get some retractors for the back seat, I'll have a set of seat belts to sell. All right, moving right along. And Stephen, hey, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining us tonight. Christina's joined, and she likes buckets even though she has a bench seat. Ah, yeah, and rear seat belts are retractable laps. That's right, Dean. Thank you. I didn't even think about that, except for the middle seat belt. That one is not retractable. As you guys know, I have done an upgrade to my seat belts in my 73 Nova. I went with a 3-point retractable shoulder belt from Morris Classic Concepts, but I believe there's also retro belts out there. And I'm going to be looking at those coming up because I need to get my girlfriend a birthday gift. Yeah, her birthday was a few weeks ago, so I've talked to her about it, and I told her what I'm going to do because she needs some new seatbelts for her Chevelle. And we're going to get the same kind of seatbelts. But I believe I saw retro belts in another car at a car show. I can't remember if it was, I think it was a Ventura. So same thing, X-body. And the retractor housing on the bottom was a lot smaller than the one I have for the Morris Classic Concepts, which was, I found, a lot bulkier and actually makes an imprint in the door panels. All right, yeah, Brian, if you want to post a picture, we could probably identify those to you. I mean, the ones I've got for the back, you know, the back seat belt, the middle one is just a regular, you know, with a buckle like this and a regular belt. And of course that's for the front as well, but the retractable ones should, and then this should be like what the retractables will click into. Yeah, and then the shoulder belts are here with non-retracting. Yeah, Brian, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, buckets for racing with your buddies. And a bench when cruising with your wife, definitely. And Christina, how are you doing? I believe you're out in British Columbia, Canada, if I remember correctly. And how's your Nova coming? I remember last seeing some posts. It was a while ago. You were trying to replace a rear quarter or doing some metal work. How's your Nova coming along? How are things progressing? And how you been? All right, I think I've caught up to the chat there. Not too much going on. There's only 6 of us tonight. So, hey, speak up, ask questions or whatever. Oh, just got a message, someone saying thank you for the title group on the X-body. Yeah, of course. That's another thing, folks. You know, it's summertime. Let's get some pictures going. We need more pictures. I myself am guilty of that too. I need to take the Nova out and get some pictures. I got some lovely pictures of the Omega last month at St. Vital Park, and I want to try and take those same pictures with the Nova in the places where I snap pictures with the Omega, because I need to get some more pictures to, you know, flood the group. Yeah, Team Green. All right, so yeah, Christina started the Bondo. Hey, Carrie Clark, how you doing? Welcome. How are things with you? Been out cruising? You got any Nova pictures of your own? Yeah, the Bondo. I wish I knew how to work with that, Christina, because I still have to do the weld lines on my Omega. I still have never filled that in. I mean, you can't really see the, as I call them, quarter scars from welding the half quarters on. But I still need to get the Bondo out and smoothen that out. You know, so much work, so little time. I've had the Nova now 27 years. The Omega I've had 16 years. I don't think they're ever going to get done. And the latest thing I did on the Omega is I took the extra rocker chrome from a 73-74 Custom, thanks to Mike Wilson, And I installed it on the Omega, and I think it looks really sharp. All right, so what else is going on, folks? Any of you guys come across any parts cars of your own, or any pickup parts cars you've come across? I have one guy I used to work with. He has a '73 Buick Apollo, and I'm still trying to get him to sell it, but now he's fixing it up, and I'm trying to get him on our X-Body group, because it's a nice car, and it's green. Always a work in progress. Oh, Dean, that is so true. There never ends. Never ends. And hey, Sean Helberg, how you doing, buddy? Oh, Sean. Oh, Sean's gonna appreciate this. So a while ago, I had bought a pan based on your measurements and that, but that's not it. This was made by a buddy of mine. He was using this on his '67 Nova, and he even made a relief for the distributor on his '67. But he has since upgraded to an LS, no longer needs it, and guess he decided he didn't need the base anymore, and I was talking about making one, so he gave it to me. So now I got to get the rubber that'll fit around the edge. As you can see, it's polished nicely. Of course, I'll be taking pictures as I do this, but I may actually just use this as a prototype and make one with that cake pan that I ordered. So yeah, that's what's up. And I'd love to have a cowl hood on the Omega, but they just don't make them. All right, where are we going? Oh, sorry. Okay, let's go back. Kelly says she's doing good. Still working on mine and need to add seatbelts. Carrie, is yours a 73 or 74? And Sean, how are you doing? He's it's not often I admit I like a blue Nova, but Sean's got one of my favorite blue Novas there with the slot mags and the black top and the patina. I love it. It's a beautiful car. And Christina says it's been too hot lately, making her lazy. We were talking about that a little earlier. We've had a bit of a heat wave here in Manitoba, upwards in the 90s, which is the 30s Celsius. And that's made people pretty lazy. I've been trying to do as much as I can. I just carry a bag of extra shirts because I didn't have a summer last year. Don't want to keep bringing it up, but after the assassination attempt by Team Blue on Team Green, and my foot was in a cast for all summer, I only got a month to drive my car, so I'm making up for it this year, that's for sure. And Brian is currently working on a 383 stroker, 638 one-piece seal, 4-bolt block. Nice. That's what I have in the Omega. I have a ZZ3 block out of a truck. I believe it's a 97 or 98 Silverado, and it has the one-piece rear main seal. Man, that's slick to work with. And in Scat Lightweight Series crank with forged rods, pistons. Nice. Trying to decide on a top end and cam. Well, Brian, if money's no object, I'm going to push the AFR heads. I put those on the Nova, man, and they look slick, and I like them. Or sorry, not AFR, Brodix. Yeah, Brodix. You know what? That's embarrassing. I don't even know what's on my own car. Oh. Can we do a redo of this? So Carrie, she's got a 74. So you need what? Front seat belts or rear seat belts? All seat belts? Nice. And where are we here? Oh yeah, Lou wants to buy his buddy's Ventura. I recommend it. You know, it's nice to kind of have a corporate cousin. As much as I would love to have a 73 and 74 Nova, it's been kind of cool having an Omega because there's not many of them out there. And honestly, I only know of one other Omega in Winnipeg. That's on the road. There's one in Portage la Prairie, a blue one, my buddy Oliver. There is one in Selkirk without a powertrain. Okay, so there's a few of them still kicking around Manitoba, but I think there's only like 2 of them in Winnipeg. So it's kind of cool having something different. Venturas, though, a lot of Venturas around here in these parts, quite a few of them. And Sean's got his new mechanical fan working flawlessly. And it's running better than ever. Squeals the tires going into second. That's always good. Now you're going to have a problem with your tires balding. I got to admit, you know, between running an electric fan in the Nova with electric fan shroud combo versus a mechanical fan in the Omega, I got to say, when driving the cars, there's really no difference. They're both running 190, 195. The only advantage I've noticed with the electric fan is when you're in standstill rush hour traffic, you're at low RPMs because traffic is crawling. The fan is still spinning at a high speed and you're getting a lot of cooling. That, I could say, is really the only advantage. A disadvantage? Well, if you blow a fuse or something, you have absolutely zero cooling. But, you know, same thing could be said if you blow a belt with mechanical, right? Honestly, I like the simplicity of just a mechanical fan and, you know, nothing electrical or electronic to worry about. And my electric fan is wired right up to my ignition, so it comes on with the key. But, I mean, you can get it with the temperature control and that, but then your controller fails. Then what do you do? Now you're without cooling. So there's plus and minuses, but honestly, I got to say I'm liking the mechanical. But because I drive my car, you know, every day, and I do get stuck in traffic or construction, the electric fan has really done a great job of keeping the car cool. So, I guess if you're going to wire the fan in simple, without a controller and that, then I would go with the electric fan like I've got over mechanical, just for the reason it keeps the car cool in high heat, low, slow-moving traffic. I think that's what I'm going to stand by tonight. We're going to say electric. Oh, okay. So Carrie's got the seat belts, front ones. She just hasn't installed them yet. Get on it. I know it's easier said than done, but one thing when I installed my seat belts, when I did the seatbelt conversion in the Nova, I ran a tap in all the holes to clean the threads where to bolt the seatbelts in. Highly recommend that, Carrie. That'll make your job and life a lot easier. And Lou has AFR heads. He loves his AFR heads. No, Lou, in the Omega, I am still able to run a mechanical pump. There is the provision on the side of the block. However, I am running an electric fuel pump on it after I had some issues with the mechanical pump, a couple of them. I went with the Holley Blue pump and ran new line down the side. And that's what I'm using now with a regulator. And I'm running it at 5.5 pounds to a Holley 650 double pumper. And of course, folks, as I'm talking and nattering away here, be sure to read the chat and feel free to chat with other people. It's not just about me here. So, yeah. And Brian's been looking at Brodex, AFR, and trick flows and the 190 intake. Oh, this is embarrassing again. I don't know. Mine are the Track 1 series. I'm not sure what intake that is, if that's 190 or 205. Hey, Timmy made it. Hey, Tim, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. If I remember correctly, you were in the midst of wanting to sell your car. So, I can't remember the reason why, but how you doing? Is your car still for sale? What's going on? Okay, I'm just going to log in here to CNC Motorsports. That's where I bought my engine kit from. And see if... take a look at my invoice and see my heads. Man, this is so embarrassing. I don't even know what I have anymore. You know, between the Nova and the Omega, I just can't get anything straight. Like even cam specs, I have to keep it on my phone. Like, jeez. All right, so where are we going here? Brodex, they're 221, small block Chevy aluminum. Track 1, 221s. Okay, but that doesn't tell me what unless it's 220. Oh, let's find out. Now I need to know. Or you know what, this may be something I may have to do after. But I'm pretty embarrassed that, yeah, okay, 221cc intake port, 64cc combustion chamber. That's what I've got. Okay, now I'm going to leave that screen up because I'm going to take a picture after so I remember. Okay, yeah, Tim, how you doing again? The sound of the electric fan, the sound of the electric fan's always kind of bugged. He had a clutch fan. You know what? I was never a fan of clutch fans, and that's because I've had one that failed back in the day on my old Parisian, where the clutch just wasn't engaging or was very weak. But when my car is running, yeah, I guess you could say you hear the fan. I don't hear the fan inside the car, but you could definitely hear it when you're walking on the outside of the car. That's for sure. Okay, and then we go. And Sean has installed aftermarket seatbelts in his car too. I mostly did it, Sean, because they changed the laws here in Manitoba. Before, it used to be if you had a two-piece seatbelt system, you only had to use the pelvic belt. About 4 years ago, they changed that, and if you had the shoulder strap, you now had to use it. And I just hated that it didn't retract, and it always just kind of, flopped around or whatever, and it drove me nuts. I saw these seatbelts installed in my buddy Pat. He has a 71 Nova, installed the very same seatbelts, looked at them, tried them out, like sat in his car, tried it out. I'm like, yeah, I love this. Went and ordered them from Summit, and one of the best things I ever did. And I agree, safer is better. And that's why with, my daughter in the car, I now will let her sit in the front because she's got the shoulder belt. And that's another reason why I want to get them for my girlfriend Chevelle's, because she allows her daughter to sit in the front now. And Shelly's pretty short, so she sits fairly forward on her bench seat. And even if I lean forward, I can touch the windshield. So yeah, I want a shoulder strap. Hey, Ronald, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the Nova Hour. Tell us a bit about yourself and your car if you'd like. Or if you got questions or want to throw something out, of course, go ahead. 221, 220 good airflow. Definitely. I didn't realize these heads breathed that well. Yeah. Timmy, does anyone have a factory 3-point full system for sale and will ship front and back seat? Tim, are you looking for 73 or 74? Because the 73 ones, that shoulder belt isn't retractable, and you can't put a retractable system in there unless you're going to weld braces into your roof. Yeah, Sean, but the chrome was actually on the Omega, not the Nova. And put the chrome back on the wheel wells, and then the rocker chrome on the Omega. Okay, if you guys are going to get motion sick, you might want to just wait a sec here. Let me move the camera up so I can see. All right, let's see, what can I do here? All right, so we're going to go on a little trip in my garage here. And yeah, on the Omega there, as you see, I put the rocker trim from a 74 Nova Custom, which is actually our fellow member Mike Wilson. He traded him some chrome for some other chrome. And then I also put chrome on the drip rail up over the door and the windows there. So that's and then I ordered the chrome for the back wheel well, because you think I can remember what I did with the chrome when I replaced it from the original quarters? No. Okay, sorry about that, folks. If you get dizzy or motion sick, that's on me. There we go. I think that's the right angle. I'm Tim. I'm Dave's neglected child that left for beer and cigarettes, never came home at a young age. Yeah, that's funny because I don't smoke or drink, so wrong Dave. That's funny. 74. Okay, so you're looking for 74 belts. Tim, I may have something for you kicking around. Message me after, and I'll take some pictures. But, I mean, they're a little discolored from the sun. They're not perfectly black. But I have something that may work for you. I believe these are If these ones aren't 74, then the other ones are, because these might be out of a 77. I'll have to look at the ends. Yeah, you know what? Those ones I think are later gen. Yeah, here we go. Oh, I only have one. Okay. I have to dig through. Tim, send me a message offline. Send me a DM, and I'll see if I can help you out there, buddy. Because I do have something. Oh, hey, Ronald. Yeah, been a member a while. I know. I just wanted you to say what kind of Nova you have, whether it's 73, 74, and maybe some of the other members don't know you. But I do appreciate you joining us here tonight. Thank you for joining us. And Sean, I was toying with the idea of selling my Dodge Omni GLH. Man, that is a rare car. Whoa. Not that I could afford it or I have room for it, but those Omni GLHs, those were something back in the day, man. That is a cool car. I know this is a Chevy Nova channel, but that's cool, man. And getting a truck or an older SUV like a K5 Blazer or Ram Charger. Just to get off topic a little bit, when I bought the Omega, my original plan was to fix it up, get a K5 Blazer frame, and make that into a 4x4 after seeing some of the 4x4 Nova pictures that were out there. I honestly wanted to make that a 4x4 and have it as a winter vehicle. That kind of got derailed after we got it on the road. I realized just how much work was put into it because we changed the quarters, the wheel wells, fixed the floors, and everything. It was like it'd be a shame to drive this thing in winter and have it rot out. So, and of course it took me because last year, Craig Antonio, who's a member of our sister group, him and I went halfers on a 74 Olds Omega parts car. And I wanted the front clip off of it. So we got new fenders on the Omega, and it took a long time to find some nice fenders. I was almost at the point where I was going to make that a Nova and use Nova fenders, because the old ones were terrible. All right, I think I got caught up on the chat there. Is that everybody? Okay, yeah, I'm all caught up. So, yeah. What else is up? Who else has questions? What do we got going on here? Oh yeah, keep that window open because I want to remember my specs for my heads, because I can't remember anything anymore. It sucks getting old. All right, we're just about 20 after 8. Almost got an hour here, folks. I can't even drink. What else is up? Talk to me. Let's see what's going on in the forum then. If it's a little quiet right now. Of course, oh yeah, my ADD kicked in. Pictures. Folks, let's get some nice pictures out there. Let's get some pictures going. It's probably none of my business, and I probably shouldn't be ranting about this, but if you're taking pictures of your car, you know, for example, let's take a picture of the Omega. All right, here we go. Look at this picture, okay? And this is, you know, I see a lot of people taking pictures like this, you know. But look, the kind of, you know, the front and the back and the front here and the back here are kind of cut off, and you got all this extra wasted space up here and down here. When you're taking a picture, from just go this way. Look at that. There we go. Now, the picture, you got all of the car, and you know, instead of having all that extra space up there and at the bottom, you now have it lengthwise. The pictures turn out much nicer. And when they're in this format, I can use them as cover pictures. Because when they're the other way, the cover picture, it will crop it, and I'm only able to use like part of it, something like that. So, folks, please do me a favor when you're taking pictures next time. Take them this way, but also take them this way. You'll thank me. And I used to take them this way too. Somebody said the same thing to me. I'm not trying to say I'm the best picture taker person, but that was advice that was given to me too. So I'm just kind of spreading it around. Because after I took a picture like that, and then I took a picture like that, I'm like, Oh, yeah. Yeah, fill the viewfinder with the car as opposed to all that extra wasted space. Because, who really cares about what's up on the roof there and stuff? Oh, my fat fingers. Who really cares about what's up on the roof and what's down below there when you want to get the car as the main body of the picture? And then I can use them as cover pictures, which right now I should change that picture again. I used a picture from my buddy Mike Wilson, who just got his 74 Nova on the road. But I don't know if you guys noticed in the cover picture, in the background, in the top right corner, there's me in green. Yeah. So it's kind of a 2-for-1, eh? All right, let's see what's going on in the discussions there. Has anybody chatted yet? Or am I still... okay, we got a few more chats here. Okay, excellent. Ronald, right. He's got a 73 sedan and a 74 Spirit of America and 3 other 74s. Whoa, you got quite a collection there. And Spirit of America, so those were nice cars. I know they were a couple years early, but yes. Okay, I remember what your cars are now. Right. Excellent. Yeah, definitely, Ronald. Get us some pictures, man. Even of the parts cars are the ones you're fixing up. Get us some pictures. We need some pictures. And Lou is putting gears in the rear end. He's going to 373s. What do you got right now, Lou? In my car, I'm running 342s and 373s. And when driving at about 60 miles per hour, I'm at 2,900, 3,000, and 3,300, 3,400 in the Omega. So every gear step between, 373, 342, 308, 273, you're looking at about 300 to 400 RPM difference. But one thing you definitely want to make sure is you don't go geared too high, like, 410s or 456s. If you're running a quarter mile, you could run out of RPM. I've seen a lot of guys do that. And yeah, Lou's with me there. Yeah, landscape pictures. Is it snowing there yet? No, not yet. No snow. It's still sunny and hot. Actually, Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 17 degrees Celsius. Tonight, expect a low of 10 degrees.
Oh, so it's actually
Have a
cooling
good
down
night.
here. So we're in, Alexa, what's 17 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit? I think it's about 58.
17 degrees Celsius is 62.6
Oh,
degrees
I was off by
Fahrenheit.
4 degrees. That's pretty good. So we're in the low 60s and high 50s tonight. So autumn is coming, and I don't like what comes after autumn. But the car would be running really good right now. Christina, yeah, Lou, 3D pictures. Some of those 3D pictures actually work pretty cool. The way I don't know how Facebook does it, but it's pretty cool how that works. And Sean says, yeah, got to take a good picture. Absolutely. Dave Williams has joined us. Dave, welcome, sir. Our LS expert and also the newest moderator. Welcome, Dave. Thanks for joining. And Brian, how you doing, buddy? He says it's 108 there. Wow. Okay, so yeah, I ran out of RPM. I hit the finish line at 95 miles an hour. Around 5,500, 14.5. I think I have 342 gears. Yeah, you might have 373s because when I run the Omega and I'm topping out, I'm running about 14. If I leave it in drive, it's running about, maybe you do a 342s because I'm going to say I'm around the 14.1, 14.2 mark. But if I shift it, then I'm at the 100 mile an hour mark. So yeah, 342s would sound about right. There is a method for turning a tire and seeing how many times your drive shaft loop turns, or your drive shaft loop. Yeah, if your drive shaft loop's turning, you got a problem. How many times your drive shaft does turn to give you a quick combo. And Brian Williams, my Alexa answered as well. Yeah, as you guys can see, I do have an Alexa unit, cancel, in the garage. The reason for that being, folks, people say, well, these devices are listening and they tailor advertisements, blah, blah, blah. But you know what else that thing does? That also provides me with some safety and that, because if something happened to me here, or if I got pinned in the car or under the car, I live alone. Who's going to find me? Well, probably my hockey teams would find me because they need a goalie. But no, all seriousness. You know, there was a time last year when I was working on the Omega, and I actually got pinned in the Omega. My arm got pinned. I forget what I was doing with the control arm, the header, and that. And I was like stuck. I'm like, uh-oh. Well, guess where my cell phone is? Right here at the workbench. I'm over here, all stuck like this, right? And I'm like, uh-oh, there's my phone. Well, you could say, Alexa, dial, and give it a number. Cancel. Cancel. You can say, dial, and give the phone number 204, because this is the area code. And it will actually, through IP, dial a number, and you can speak to somebody, so I can call for help. So really, folks, if you're in your garage a lot and you work alone, or you live alone, or, you know, you just by yourself, having one of those units may not be a bad idea. Of course, with internet, you got to have internet in the garage. It may not be a bad idea to have one of those as a safety precaution, so you can call for help if you needed it. I'm being absolutely serious there, because sometimes accidents happen. Oh, where am I? Oh, Christina. It's 41 going down to 35 tonight. Oh, yeah, we had that probably about 2-3 weeks ago. It was hot here, but yeah, it's starting to cool down here at night now. And I notice now in the morning when I'm getting up to go to work, it's dark, and that sucks, man. That really sucks. Oh, and Dave Williams, I finally get to go back to work 3 weeks ago. Oh, I finally got to go back to work 3 weeks ago. The kids are melting in the hot shop. It was 105. Oh, wow, man. Yeah, get some fans going in there. Are you guys still working on your Nova, Dave, in the auto shop there at your school? And yeah, happy to see the kids going back. Okay, and yeah, Randy, hey, how you doing? You know what, sir? Honestly, it's I who should be thanking you for being a member of our groups and posting pictures and sharing. Randy's picture right now is the cover picture on the 73-74 GMX body, our sister site. I put his picture up there. He's got his 73 Nova. And I'm not laughing at you, Randy. Randy's been sharing pictures of his car, and I saw one that was taking a nice angle, and it was taking kind of landscape, and it was just at a nice angle. Thought it would make a beautiful cover picture. But honestly, Randy, it's I who should be thanking you for being a contributing member to our group and sharing with us. So thank you. And what I was laughing at there is every time I say the A word, it's, I guess, Brian is playing, Brian Turner is playing this loud at his place, and his A unit is answering when I say something. It's answering me every time I have a question. Oh, that's hilarious. We used to have a radio ad that said, play, it would say, A, play 92 City. And all of a sudden, anybody who had the unit in their house, because they heard the advertisement, all of a sudden now their unit started playing the radio. And the radio station got such slack they had to change the ad. Oh, that's great. Dean's taking off. Dean, thanks for joining us, man. Really appreciate you coming on and saying hi and checking things out. I'm sorry we didn't have great content tonight, but I really do appreciate you joining us and taking part. As long as the roads are dry, when I get home from work, I try to take the Nova for a few laps around town. Getting plenty of looks, smiles, and thumbs up. With the exception of this year, Sean, I like to do the same thing too. You know, go out in the evening to unwind, make a few laps in the car. And I was actually counting how many times I was getting comments like nice car or thumbs up. And this year I lost count, so I'm a little disappointed. I know it was around probably 30 something, but yeah, I lost count. But honestly, I get more looks, more talks, and more comments about the Omega than I do the Nova. Because, you know, I guess everybody's seen the Nova and I drive it so often. But when I drive the Omega, everybody's like, oh, is that a Cutlass? Oh, no, that's not a Cutlass, it's the Nova. It's like, no, it's an Omega. And then you go through the, the story how it's a corporate cousin, blah, blah, blah. But that Omega gets a lot of compliments.
I mean, it's not even that pretty looking in real life. I mean, you know, it's got its rust problems. It's still got to do body work on it. And it's got stripe marks because I've painted it with trim cloth. Oh, thanks, Randy. Appreciate the comment. I can't take all the credit. Our members make our groups great. And I really should take a moment again to thank you and all the other members for constantly contributing to both the Chevy Nova 7374 and the 7374 GMX body group. Thank you. I mean, without you guys, we wouldn't have a group. And I like to think we have the best groups out there. Of course, I'm going to say that. I'm an admin. But in all honesty, I mean, there's many times I've gone back to Chevy Nova, even with being part of other groups. I've gone back to Chevy Nova to reference information that I've read there or in the topics, and then been able to post answers in other groups. So definitely. Brian's taking off. Brian, thank you very much for showing up and chatting. Great to see you in chat too, and we'll talk again soon. Yeah. And Randy says, love the group, the X bodies, and the Skylark. Yes, the Skylark though wasn't an X body though till 75 to 79, if I remember correctly. And Sean's taking off too. He's already, gang. I'm getting off. All right, Sean, thanks for joining us, and get some pictures of your car. I love your Nova, man, with those slots. That's a sweet ride. So go make some laps for us, buddy. And Dave, what shifter are you using in the Nova? Believe it or not, the stock column shifter. Yeah. The only thing is though, is I do have that Lecar. What is it? The ACA 1800 rod that goes from the steering column to the transmission and eliminates the factory linkage. That's the only thing that isn't stock with my linkage, and it gives me a lot crisper shift than the old factory linkage because I had so much play in it. I guess, 150 some thousand miles will do that. But yeah, I'm still running the column shifter, and I love it. The Omega, on the other hand, we are running a B&M Pro Ratchet. The Pro Ratchet's being run in the Omega. And the reason we did that is Dad kept going from second into neutral on the column. And he wanted a shifter, so I told him to buy one. And he did. But as soon as Dad's done racing, I'll put the column shifter back in the Omega. I love the column. There's just something about that, Yeah. Versus, well, then again, I do have a bench seat, so I got to reach forward because I got the shifter so far forward on the floor. But yeah, I like my column shifter. I like my bench seat. Again, I tried to keep the car as stock looking as possible with, some minor cosmetic changes, cowl hood. No. Oh, you know what? Forgive me, Randy, Ray. Hey, Ray. Yeah, I did see your name. How you doing, buddy? What's up? Not much, just hanging out in the garage, chilling. Happy birthday, buddy. Hope you got some sweet Nova parts for your birthday. And Brian Williams should start slamming some workout next month when it's not 130 in the shop. When I built this garage, I wanted to put an air conditioning unit in the wall, make a hole so I could fit a unit. And my dad talked me out of it. And, I thought, oh yeah, he's right. I'll just put a couple fans in here. That'd be good enough. I really wish I put AC in the garage sometimes. Shelly's got it in her garage, and I love it. I've been on and toyed about getting one of the units, one of those portable units that, with the little exhaust fan, and drill a hole in the door like an exhaust port to vent it in here and have air conditioning in here. But summers are really short here, so really AC, it's kind of a luxury, but I can do without. Like I said, I just change a shirt every hour or so, and I got a lot of shirts, and the shirts are cheap at Walmart. And Brian has the B&M Z-Gate. I've never heard of it. Let's take a look at that. B&M Z-Gate. You know what? I think I'm going to try and use some of these encoder programs so I can bring up a screen in the chat. That would be cool, wouldn't it, eh? Okay, a Z gate. That's cool. This looks like, is it kind of like a ratchet shifting one as well, or? That's a nice looking shifter. I'm just calling it up on some of it. The one I'm looking at is the 80681. That's a nice looking shifter. Very, very, it's plain, but I like plain. I don't like fancy. Usually fancy stuff breaks. That's a nice shifter, Brian. Randy says it's 75 here in Indiana at 9:30 at night. Okay, yeah, it's 8:30 here right now. Of course, it's Central Time here in Manitoba. 75. So that's Alexa. What's 75 Fahrenheit and Celsius?
75 degrees Fahrenheit is about 23.89 degrees
So
Celsius.
that's a nice temperature. 70s is a nice temperature. All right, Dave. The wife's calling. Yep. Don't want an upset wife. Thank you for stopping in, and thank you for all you do in Chevy Nova 73, 74. All the hard work in validating new members and moderating posts. Thank you very much, sir, for your service in our group. Really appreciate it. And get some pictures of the kids working on your car. So we've passed an hour. I don't know if you guys want to keep going or what. Or you want to keep nattering. Do you have any questions? Anything to talk about? Talk to me, folks. I'm so embarrassed actually with the garage being this dirty. It's really got my OCD twitching. I'm gonna have to double my meds if we're gonna do this again before it's clean. Oh yeah, and we gotta put up that pole in Chevy Nova 73, 74. I'm gonna do that right now. In your 73, 74 Nova, which seat configuration do you prefer? Not necessarily what is installed in your ride. Option 1, bench seat. Option 2, buckets. And let's see, can people choose multiple answers? No. Allow anyone to add opinions? No. I have more than one X-body car and have buckets and bench in them. Yeah, okay, because we got to have that. Should I have another? You guys think I should have another? Other. And boom! There, that's posted, and we'll tag that in the topics. I believe we have a topics for topic. Yeah, here we go. We got topics for polls. I thought we had one for polls. What the heck? Or was it, maybe it's under voting. Okay, forget the topics. I'll look at that later. I have more than one X-body car and have buckets and bench. I have, oh, you know what? I should have put, no, you know what? I'm going to have to do this different. Oh, no, I have others for that. Because really, I can't enter the Omega in here because it's a not a Nova. So that's why I don't really talk about the car much in that group. It's kind of frowned upon. Okay, there we go. All right, what else? And hey, Mike Badger, how you doing, buddy? Bench all day. Congratulations, comfy couch cruising. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Yeah, I got benches, like I said, in both my cars. And in fact, the seats in the Omega are out of a 77 Nova Concourse. The original ones were pretty ripped and not in the greatest shape. And I found those ones in a Nova Concourse in the junkyard, and I got them for $40. They had a horribly dirty and a huge stain on the front bench, but I was able to use one of those bristle vacuum car upholstery cleaners. And after about 4 or 5 applications, it came out beautiful. I mean, the seat looks like new. So that's what I'm running in the Omega now. The original seat, though, I still have in the corner, though, because of the seat belt wiring in that. I would need that to pass a safety inspection if I had to go for one. So we still have the original there. And then, of course, the one in the Nova, I had that recovered, but that is the original bench in the Nova. Oh, where's my notepad here? Okay, so Brian Williams, you're looking for door panels, are you? What color? Anyone condition any? Oh, okay, they're getting leather wrapped. Okay, Brian, let me might be able to help you out there. I'm still going through bins and parts boxes from that parts car I bought. As I mentioned earlier in the show, a couple of weeks ago, before I started holidays, I bought another 73, 74 Nova off a buddy. It was a 73 Nova. And I'm using the doors. The doors are mint. The fenders are in great shape. I'm going to probably use the fender to replace my driver's fender from my little whoopsie last year in September when I rear-ended a Ford Escape. Yeah. A clean garage is the ones that isn't used. Isn't that the truth? It's true, but you got to be able to function. I mean, I'm at the point now where, I can't use my workbench because I got so many parts out that I'm in the midst of cleaning in that and sorting out. Same with my little workbench there. Parts I've been pulling off the cars. I've even gone as far as saving a brake pedal. What for? I don't know. Maybe someone with a manual might need a brake pedal, right? I mean, I strip everything off a car. It came with an extra housing, and then you got your lenses, you got your hood pieces. Like I'm saving it. The hood's rotten, unfortunately. I got wiring out the wazoo, and I have a nice interior light piece here, the plastic, which I'm going to replace the. Oh, there's a bulb. And I'm going to replace in the Omega. And of course, overflow jug from a 74. And I'm not using that because I use the 75 to 79 style that goes in the fenders. Yeah, I'm in the midst of trying to clean and sort and box everything. It's just got my OCD twitching how it is in here. All right, Randy. Well, thank you very much for joining us and again for being a member of our group. And I really appreciate you stopping by. Thank you. And, Mike's got something. He's got a green set. So there you go, Brian. Might be able to help you out there. And that I know I have a few door panels, but I mean, they're not in the greatest shape. A lot of the plastics on the inside are cracked and that. And I really got to learn fiberglass, and so I could fix that up. My original set off, my Nova, I've got them up out of the way right now because the plastic is cracked on them, and I want to fix them before they crack and it rips the leather on the other side. Randy, as I was explaining for the overflow, you could use, a 74 one, which also comes on some 73s, bolts on the side of the fender. On some Novas, it's on the passenger side. We've seen some Novas in our group that are on the driver's side. Usually the ones with air conditioning have them on the driver's side. Or what you can do if you, like my Nova here, I have one from a 75 to 79, and it tucks inside the fender behind the headlight, behind the battery. That's the best way I would recommend of getting one. If you want to, tucked it out of the way and, or if you want, absolutely stock, then yeah, you get an overflow bottle like that. If you need, Randy, I could send you a picture. Let me just write your name down here, and I'll send you a picture of my setup right away. Oh, you know what? I wonder. No, I can't send a picture in chat. Okay. So yeah, overflow. So Brian, do let me know if you get those door panels from Mike. If you do, then I'll just cross you off the list because right now I just put you on a little list here for a person looking for parts. So, all right. We're just down to 8 viewers, so I guess everybody's kind of taking off. Any other questions? I know some of you folks arrived late, so I don't know if you've got questions or something to talk about. Or Randy says the only piece of his car missing is an overflow. Actually, my Nova in 73 never came with an overflow. It used to just have a hose that went straight down to the radiator cradle. So that might be the same thing for your Nova. Because as far as I know, Novas didn't come with overflows till 74. But I've been wrong before. Don't quote me on that. So yeah, all right, folks. Well, I'll give it a moment here, see if anybody else has got some last minute chats, questions, comments, and maybe we'll just wrap it up. Oh, also, if you managed to be watching this long, if you're on YouTube watching the stream, of course, you're not seeing the chat that's going on here. But this is going to be posted on our Facebook group. If you're a member, you will see the chats as the videos go on along if you watch the video within the Facebook group. So you'll know what I'm talking about when I'm talking to people. The YouTube video, unfortunately, doesn't allow you that chat, so you don't see what I'm talking about. My overflow overflows and needs something bigger. If your overflow's overflowing, how much fluid are you putting in, Brian? And Christina says my overflows just goes through a hole to the ground. Yeah, like Christina, like I said, I don't believe 73s came with overflow bottles, but I put one in my 73 because I needed to have one to race at the racetrack. So that's why my 73 has one. Again, here, you know what? Let's go on a little tour again, folks. If you're motion sick easy, wait a sec. Look away. And let me just adjust the video here. Okay, we're going to go for a little trip over here into Dave's Nova. And see, there you go. There's my overflow. Right there. From a 75 to 79 X body, Nova, Ventura, Skylark, Omega. Yeah, look away. I should have warned you. Look away again. That's my overflow setup in my car. There you go. Okay, let's go back to the chat. Here we go. Yeah, and like I said, I need one because racing at the track, but I've never had any fluid go in it or have it overflow, and I've never really had any problems. And then what I do every couple of years, actually, especially on the Omega, you know, I've always checked my hoses, you know, at all locations to see if they're getting, you know, soft or... No, these are all good. My heater hoses are good. Especially that one at the intake because of the angle. It tends to, the clamp tends to cut it. But on the Omega, as you guys have seen in pictures, I've switched to a big block heater core, which moved the outlets from behind the valve cover over to the fender. I'm going to be doing that to the Nova too, eventually. It's on the to-do list. And Lou says you should get one, and over time you'll end up with air in the radiator. I guess well, trying to think how you'd get air in the radiator, because the only time it would be open is when it's overflowing. But either way, you should get one, just because I said so. Any other questions or any other pieces, parts you want to see or talk about or discuss? Another cool thing I have on my car for a cosmetic upgrade is these radiator cover pieces for the grill. Of course, I had to cut this and modify it for my trans cooler, which is behind my grill right here. I had to kind of bend it up so it acts like a scoop, because I found when it just was flat, it cut a lot of air out of my trans cooler. It was actually heating up, so I got kind of a scoop now. So it scoops the air and gets through to the cooler. But I love these pieces. I mean, they're easy to fabricate if you have the means of doing it. At the time, I didn't. I could probably do it now because I have a brake. I want to do something like that for the Omega. John Davis, welcome, sir. How you doing, buddy? We're just into an hour into our show. What kind of Nova you got? Please forgive me if I don't remember you from a previous show. Your name doesn't look familiar to me, so please introduce yourself and tell us about your Nova, and or if you got any questions. Okay, Lou says as fluid expands, it gets hot, it needs to go somewhere. Yeah, and I guess if the pressure's there, it'll push the cap out, and that could push air. Yeah, I could see that, Lou. Yeah, you're right. Look at that. I've learned something tonight. You know, I don't know it all. And I don't pretend to know it all. I really don't. So if You know, if I come across as being cocky or, you know, like Super Nova expert, I've just learned the hard way and or the expensive way. Like I have spent and wasted a lot of money on this car. I don't even want to tell you how much, a lot. And I've learned the hard way. And really, part of the reason I like to partake in these Facebook groups and posts and videos is I'm trying to save you guys money and not go through the hardships or the stress that I've gone through making, you know, horrible mistakes. You know, just thinking of some of the things, it's just, oh, maybe I'll save that for another show when we talk about. I could tell you about like these valve covers here. You can get them at Summit for about what is it? High $200, $300. The Chevrolet kind. Well, I got them as a Christmas gift, and by the time I got them on the car, I was into it for $2,000 because when I pulled the valve cover off, I saw that a rocker was twisted. The rocker had damaged the top of a valve, bent a push rod, and sawed through a valve guide, sending metal through the bottom of the motor. So I ended up pulling the motor because I'm like, oh, I gotta check the bearings. So as I'm pulling the motor, I'm looking like, why is my transmission on an angle? Oh, look, the bell housing's broken 3/4 of the way across. And I guess from it being broken so long in riding on the input shaft, the transmission pump was on its way out. So by the time I got the transmission rebuilt, new torque converter, an ultra bell housing installed, and then the rocker stud replaced, the rocker fix, a new rocker and push rod and valve guide and all that. I was into it for about $2,000 for a Christmas gift of valve covers. But at the same time, my buddy probably saved me from a catastrophic failure. So really, I can't complain, right? John has a 1973 Nova. Sweet. Not that there's anything wrong with 74, but I'm kind of partial to 73. And Brian, running about 205 with the Sniper and no shroud at idle. When I shut down, it drops about a gallon of antifreeze into the overflow. I've added some Napa Ice to the rad, but haven't ran it since. Brian, where's your temperature sensor on your Sniper? All right, we're gonna go for a little video. I don't know if I shared this with you before, Brian, or not, but I used to have problems with my Sniper not reading temperature properly, and I ended up welding a bung onto my intake, and I put it right in that front runner. And the reason why I didn't put it up top there is on my old intake, the heater hose was in the way, but now I got my autometer gauge is there. But I ended up welding the bung and putting it on the front of my intake there. And ever since I've done that, I mean, my temperature reads right bang on now. And it really changed how well my Sniper ran and self-programmed. So I'm not too sure where you may have your sensor. But that's weird that you're running and it's puking like that. And then also I'm running a Flexolite 188 electric fan and shroud combo. But I can't see your, no shroud being causing it that much to dump a gallon of rad fluid. And your system's fully blood and everything? Oh, that's cool, John. Yeah, John, if you do go back and watch, do go ahead and make comments to it. I do try to go back to the video and reply to comments that are made, from people who are catching up. If you are watching it on YouTube, unfortunately, you won't have the chat following with you. So if you do rewatch it through the Facebook group. Okay, and then we got here from Christina Lou. Did you just order a 74? What did I miss something there? I'm just wondering what you're referring to there, Christina. But yeah, definitely, John. Or if you have any questions about something, don't feel free to message me on Messenger. I try to answer everybody and try to help those I can anytime I can. Oh, okay, yeah. This is the 70. Well, they call it the 73, 74, but as far as I know, 74 was the first year for it. But this is what she's talking about right here, Lou. One like this, the 74. And then earlier I showed you the picture. You know what? I'm gonna have to see if I still have my spare one and bring it in here for show and tell. 75 to 79, because again, that's what I use in there, and it fits nice over the wheel well, tucks in nice behind the headlight and the battery. Okay, yeah, so that's what she's talking about. Okay, cool. And yeah. And another thing I still want to do, and I'm actually thinking of doing this live, is I want to make another set of these clear lights, because back in the day when I first came across that video from Steve F. of Reborn 74, I made these out of lenses that a buddy had kicking around in his garage, and I went out and I bought 2 brand new lenses, and I want to make 2 beautiful new ones. Like, these are actually just my prototypes. Of course, they've been in the car 9 years now. But maybe when I do that, I'll do that, I'll record it. That'd be cool. And it looks like I gotta paint the grill again. It's starting to peel. Originally, these grills were supposed to be silver. The SS's were actually casted in black plastic. That's how you'll know a real SS grill from a fake. The real SS's were casted in black plastic. So this grill was painted back when my dad first bought the car, and then he added the silver lines for stripes. And it looks like I gotta do some touch up. I've repainted them a couple times, but you know, like everything, fades as you wash and drive and stuff. Looks like I gotta touch that up. Okay, okay, just reading here, Brian. Running 2 gauges, mechanical on the intake, sniper sensor in the head. Between the two, that's 10-degree difference. That would be about right. The head will be a little hotter because you got the exhaust right there. If you're able to, Brian, I would honestly consider, I'm not saying, yeah, you have to do this. I would consider moving the bung and welding a bung onto the intake here if you have the means of doing that. Because my gauge is right on top there and the sniper's right there. And that way I'm getting an accurate temperature on both of them. You know, and then I don't have to compensate for, you know, the heat of the header, or, you know, if you put it at the back of the head for the lack of flow at the back. I've just found I had incredible luck ever since I moved things to the front there. Not only that, but I had to go through 2 sensors. My first sensor actually was reading 10 degrees off, and it was in the same place. No, I'm pretty sure I threw that out. I hope I did. I would consider that if you have the means to. Or there's another method. You can buy, there's a little bit of a blocker plate you can buy from Summit for like $39, $40, and you can put it in between your thermostat and the block. And what it is, it's a block piece like this, and it has openings that you could screw sensors into, or hoses if you needed to. If you're interested in that, let me know. I think I have the link saved. You could always try and move your sensor to there. And John just mentioned, I just have a transmission issue. It's old, needs a rebuild and a new torque converter, and I just got a new 350 motor. Awesome. Is it just a regular 350 small block, or is it like board 30 over? Have you done the heads? Has it got a cam? What kind of stuff are you doing, John? And as for transmissions are tricky. There's a lot of little parts there. I've never taken a transmission apart. I actually bought one as a core off somebody for $75. Because I want to rip it apart. I actually want to see the guts. You know, that's how I learn. I could read till I'm like blue in the face. Until I get my hands on it and I actually do it, I ain't gonna learn. So I'd love to take a transmission apart. Same with the rear end. I'd like to do a rear end. Like, I didn't know suspension before last fall, and I learned on the Omega when I redid the whole front end, which can be seen on the GMX body group. I redid the whole front end on that. Did everything but a disc brake conversion. I just couldn't afford it at the time. I had a lot of people who grilled me, why are you doing all that work and not converting it to disc brakes? Well, because I can't afford it. Yeah. But I learned suspension, and it's definitely a lot easier than you would think it would be, especially with a couple of the easy tools. Okay, Brian, you are interested. Okay, so Brian, let me note here as well. Sniper CTS info. Okay. Okay, Brian, I'll try to get that to you. If you can, give me a couple days. because I don't know if I'll get a chance tonight, and I'll try to do it tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Thursday. What's happening tomorrow? Oh, I'm going to a CFL game tomorrow, Canada Football League. The Blue Bombers are playing, but I'll try and get that to you because it should be saved in my favorites. But otherwise, just take a drill your intake, get a bung, well, or TIG it, weld it, whatever, aluminum weld. I guess it would have to be aluminum weld. See, I'm lucky because my engine builder, Dan, his uncle's a welder by trade. And that's how I got the nice weld on my intake. In fact, my old intake has the same weld on it. I ran both a dual plane and a single plane intake on my 406 with the sniper unit. And they do say with fuel injection to run a single plane, and I didn't think anything of it, but I actually noticed quite a bit of difference when I went to the single plane intake from a dual plane. And when I went to single plane, all the plugs looked even, looked good, where when I was with dual plane, it looked like the inner plugs would be good. The outer plugs were kind of, looked a little lean. So that's definitely something to look into too. Okay, John just has a stock rebuild. It has drums all around. He wants to do some discs, but he doesn't have power steering, and all the kits are drop kits or change arms. John, I got some part numbers for you, my friend, because ta-da, I have manual steering, and originally this car was manual drum all around, and I went with a manual front disc conversion kit, not last winter, the winter 2 years ago. And I got just the stock height spindles. I got my kit from the right stuff. And it's so complete. I can even send you some videos of me doing the work, including a 30-second video of me hammering my hand with a 3-pound sledge. That was a lot of fun removing ball joints. But, John, I have some part numbers for you, if you need. For if you want to run manual disc. If you want to run power disc, well, the part number will be a little different, but I could definitely point you in the right direction if you're interested. But yeah, I went to a disc brake upgrade kit in this car when I went for my 406, and I built this 421 stroker. I thought to myself, it was time to upgrade the brakes. I mean, man, I got to kind of thank Lou for that. I know he really twisted my arm, but I do have power brakes in the Omega. So, I know that, and it's drum all around as well. So, I know that I can feel the difference between the power versus the manual. Honestly, I like the manual better. That's just me. I also have manual steering in this car where I have power steering in the Omega. I love manual steering, but boy, it can be hard sometimes parallel parking with that horrible ratio. Where power steering, man, that's sweet. Woo, yeah. So, if you need John, just send me a direct message after or a PM if you want, and I can get you the part number of the kit I went with in my Nova if you are in fact interested. And Brian is running an old school Edelbrock Performer. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. I believe that's a dual plane though. I don't know if you have the means or have a single plane kicking around, but the single plane, for my application on the 406 and the 421, I found the single plane was the way to go with the sniper with the added pressure of the fuel system. Just my opinion. And Lou says, I'm happy you upgraded your brakes, much safer. Yeah, Lou. Yeah, it was a lot safer, right? I mean, I replay that day I had the accident in the car. I'd been driving it pretty much 2 weeks after I got my foot out of the cast, and I mean, I got off lucky. I just tapped that Ford Escape, and you can't even tell there was any damage there, but it was enough to do a little bit of damage. But who knows? Maybe it would have been a whole lot worse with the drums. I've always been a believer that, whether it's drum or disc, the wheels lock up. Your wheels lock up regardless. Does that change it? Who knows? But disc is obviously the way to go. The evolution of things. Cars come with disc now. I'm happy I went with disc. I guess it gives me a little more peace of mind that because I was good. I was able to judge brake fade. I knew when it was time to back off when I was, out playing with the car because my brakes were heating up. You know, after driving the car for so long, I knew where my limits were, but yeah, in the long run, I'm glad I made the change. I am sorry I didn't do it on the Omega when I had it apart. I didn't have the money, and I really did try to budget for it, but it will happen on the Omega one day. Definitely one day, but yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing too, Brian. With manual brakes, you don't have to worry about vacuum. And I actually, with the 406, I had a pretty raunchy cam in it where I didn't have much vacuum at all. I had between 2.5 to 3 pounds of vacuum at in drive. So yeah, definitely that's. Then you got to get the vacuum pump and a reservoir. Yeah, so if you're going with John here, he just has a stock build right now. But yeah, if you're down the road, John, if you're looking to get like a big raunchy cam or something like that, you're not going to have much vacuum. Manually definitely is the way to go. Yeah, exactly, Lou. It's hard to say what would have happened with or without the upgrade. Bottom line is I should have been paying attention and looking in front of me. I wasn't, and my collision avoidance system was a little late in warning me, the wife. And yeah, I hit the brakes, bang, and thankfully the car turned a little, and I hit right here in the middle of the hatch. So I got the middle of their car with their bumper hit here, and this hit the hatch. My bumper went under her bumper and took out the exhaust. And thankfully, because I just replaced this bumper in 2017 with a nice chrome one, because my old one was pretty scratched up and was an accident replacement. It was also a 74 bumper. But had I hit that Explorer head on like that, I mean, it would have crushed the grill, probably would have smashed and bent both fenders in. Who knows what it might have done to the radiator cradle. And then from there, battery, rad. Yeah, it could have been a whole lot worse. You know, obviously the good Lord was looking after me. I don't mean to preach religion. The good Lord was looking after me. And just the extension took it, and it wrinkled the fender. A little here and a little up top. We got most of it out, but you can still see a little bit of it. But I mean, the car's, I can say, you know, it's still all kind of original. It's hard to say that though, because this fender was replaced in '97 after an accident. So was the bumper, and like I said, that bumper wasn't the greatest. It was a '74 bumper, and the chrome wasn't good. And then I got this absolute mint one I bought off buddy Craig Antonio in Regina, and put it on the Nova. And I love my car. I mean, I try so hard to keep it looking good, running good, but I don't have the money, the means to do the body work and have, you know, like a show car and that. But it's what I can afford. It's paid for, right? Same with the Omega. It's not pretty. It's as fast as I can afford. Good words to live by. There will always be somebody with a faster car, and I'm not in the game to try and compete with anybody. That's for sure. Oh, look at that. It's after 9 p.m. here Central. And the only other little thing I had to do when I did do the brake upgrade is I'm very finicky about wiring. I don't want to touch the factory harness. Everything I've wired into the car, I've wired on separate circuits away from the factory harness, so the factory harness is not touched in this car, with the exception of the wire that goes to the distributor from the housing, because I had to remove that resistance wire. Anyway, what I did is I went to the junkyard off a newer model, and I got the proper switch connector that goes onto the switch of the proportioning valve of the disc proportioning valve. And I wired that and put a little connector on the other end, so it goes into my factory connector, because I didn't want to cut that connector off and splice the wire. I'm very meticulous about the wiring, and I just noticed how come this is moved? Why is this like that? That shouldn't be twisted like that. That should be around that. Oh man, you know, this is just gonna get my OCD twitching. Oh, that's another thing I've done, Brian Williams. With my Sniper, I don't know if you have electric fan control enabled or hooked up on your Sniper. I enabled it on mine for the simple fact, I mean, my fan comes on automatically on ignition, but what I did is I used the input of the electric fan because you could turn it on and off at temperatures. I wired that to my temperature light on my dash. So when my car gets to 205, my temperature light will come on, and then I have it set to not turn off again till 195. Because, you know, at least if it's at 205, whoa, I got the warning, there's a problem. I can pull over before it gets, you know, critical at, you know, 215, 220 or higher. So that's one thing I've done with my sniper with the extra wiring. I'm actually thinking of using the secondary wiring for the fan number 2 to have a buzzer. So I can have a buzzer come on at like 220. Just something I thought I'd share with you as well that I have wired up with my sniper. And like you say, Brian, drive it like you stole it. Absolutely! This is motor build number 5, transmission number 8, and rear end number 2. And this is over 27 years, okay? So don't think that I can't build or do anything. I'm extremely hard. Although the original motor and the original transmission were taken out and they're in storage in my dad's garage, so I consider that, you know, the original, that was build 1. So boom, that one's put away. So the motor I put in after that, well, that's number 2, which was just a 350. That was, you know, cam, headers, something like that. Nothing crazy. This is when I first was starting to learn to build cars. That was build number 2. Number 3 was a 406 that I built. And that, with a complete different motor, I learned to gap rings and all that stuff. And I built that motor. Number 4 was the 406 that my good friend Dan Clem built. And that was when him and my dad were talking in the garage. And we mentioned we wanted to run 12/8. That was the number we were looking for. So next thing I know, Dan and Dad are talking, and boom, there you go. $8,000 was spent, Canadian. And I had the other stout 406, which I ran for 8 years until I melted a piston in 2020. Where is that good-looking piston? Ah, yeah. That was an expensive lesson on detonation. When I melted a piston, and after that rebuilt, and the 421 came to play. So it's not that I've blown up 5 motors. I'm on my 5th build. Same with the transmissions. Usually when the motor comes out, I get the transmission freshened up, so I call it a new build because it's been looked at, things have been changed or whatnot. But I have blown and broken a few bell housings, so I consider those breakages. So therefore, this is transmission number 8. Rear end, just really I had the carrier rebuilt when I had the gears changed. It's not that I blew up a rear end, but the rear end was touched, rebuilt, so I call that rear end number 2. So my stats are kind of, take them for what you want, right? What else? Okay, so Brian, you're running a mechanical fan. So that's perfect, Brian. If you're running a mechanical fan, then you can use that fan 1 and fan 2 wiring options to wire up warning lights and buzzers if you really wanted to. Like I said, fan number 1 is wired up to my temperature light to turn on my temperature light on my dash. Yeah, Dave Williams, hey, welcome back. He says the good thing about Holley is you can wire warnings for almost anything. You can on the higher end systems, Dave, but on just the regular Sniper 4150 series, not the, at least that I know of. If you have methods of doing this, please tell me, because I love to wire up warning and flashing lights and stuff. As far as I know, the Sniper 4150 series, the basic Sniper, not much you can wire up in the way of warning. Like, I really wish you could wire up gauges for, you know, oil pressure and all that. But I also put my Sniper system in when it very first came out 5 years ago. So that was before they really started getting fancy, you know, the Super Sniper, the Terminator X series, and then not to mention the LS stuff. Ooh, LS. Ugh. Don't like to swear in my garage like that. Not that there's anything wrong with LS. It's just I'm old school. I got so many old school parts and stuff like that. It would just cost me too much to switch. Secondly, I hate computers. I despise computers. Yeah, I'm running fuel injection. And I don't have a 3. Also, the parts I talk about, folks, between the, our disc brake kit, the right stuff, along with the Holy Sniper that I'm running, the Bullet Specialties pulley system, the Edelbrock water pump, the Flexolite fan I'm running, MSD ignition, the Holy dual sync distributor. All these parts I talk about are parts that I've bought on my own based on either research or what I've talked to other people or what I've seen people use for their cars. I'm by no means endorsed or sponsored in any means by any company, by anyone. I'm a regular Joe who has a 9 to 5, well, 7 to 3, a 7 to 3 job, and I spend all my extra income on an old rusty car. No means, no sponsorships and all that. Although I did get some cool shirt. That's about as far as I've ever been sponsored or given anything. So I'm just a regular Joe who uses parts based off what I read off groups, what I've learned off real life and before the internet, and yeah. So I'm real. I'm not one of those fancy car shows where you come back after the commercial and their garage is perfectly clean. And, the floor's got no dirt on it. Oh, we've just upgraded this car with this kind of part. And then, I wish, man. But whatever. Yeah, David's using the Terminator X, so he has 4 extra inputs, outputs. That's right. Gotta love Detonation was planning on a 12.5 compression, but so hard to find race fuel or E85 around here. Brian, my old 406 was a 12.6 to 1 compression, and I ran it with 36 total timing, and I was lucky to get away with just 92 octane here in Canada. And from time to time, I was running 94 from Mohawk, which didn't have any ethanol in it. So was it ethanol? Yeah, I was running the high octane Mohawk Husky gas. And I didn't have any problems with detonation or that until what had happened is I was making a pass and programming my sniper. I was playing with my timing table and my fuel tables with the laptop hooked up to the sniper. While that was happening, I didn't know that it had done a firmware update on the sniper. And when it did a firmware update on the sniper, given this is 3 years after I originally bought it, a lot of new features were added, including a feature that added or retarded timing at wide open throttle. By default, it was set to 2 degrees. I never caught that on the laptop. If I would have used a handheld to verify my settings, I would have found that. Because my next pass I made, it went to 38 degrees, and that's pop. Still ran at 12.8. Popped about, I think, 1,000 feet down, just almost at the end, but 1,000 feet, it popped, and yeah, man, that sucked. That was all said and done. We're looking at about 4,500 Canadian to fix the old heads and stuff like that, the repairs to the block. My buddy Dan was able to save the block, and I wanted to get away from the high compression of 12.6. So that's where I went and looked online, and I went to CNC Motorsports that had rebuild kits, and I wanted to get it down to about 10.5, 11, and that's where I found the 421 stroker kit, and it was pretty much the same price as getting a rotating assembly for a 408 or a 406. So we went 421. We went bigger. Dan was able to save the block. He was able to fix the heads by machining them, so they're now 62 cc. And eventually, those other aluminum heads will be on the Omega. But we don't touch the Omega, because the Omega runs like a charm. Knock on wood. 355 small block Chevy, one-piece rear main seal with Vortec heads, 490 lift cam. That car runs like a dream. It's got just under 400 passes now at the track in 10 years of racing. And not to mention cruising around, driving it on the highway, because I drive it to and from the track, which is 60 to 70 miles away each way. That car runs sound. Doesn't even use oil or burn oil. I mean, that I don't want to touch it. But on the next build, with the 355, heaven forbid something happens, we will put the aluminum heads on that. But Brian, that's where, yeah, ouch. That's where I go about saying I try to provide advice through these shows or through posts to try and help people avoid the heartache and the hardship and the expense that I've gone through. 4,500 hurt, man. But to build this motor, I'm into it for a lot of money. We're talking 5 digits. But also don't forget, the Canadian dollar sucks. I think when I bought these parts, we were at, Canadian dollar was worth 80 cents US. So I'm into this motor for, well, 5 figures. Not counting the sniper system because that was purchased before. So this one here, I've got the safeguards in. I'm making sure, the timing doesn't go more than 36. In fact, I believe I'm running 32 total right now. And this one, I don't care to try and write a program for the sniper to, get the most fuel and the most timing. I don't have the money to build again if I blow this up. If I blow this up, that old first 406 I built, that's 9-to-1 compression, runs 13s, will go back in there because I can't afford to do this again. I'm still eating craft dinner, and it's been 2 years. And not even craft dinner, it's the generic My Compliments stuff. And if it gets any worse, I might have to move to Mr. Noodles. Oh. But hey, that's the sacrifices we make to build and drive our cars. Yeah, Dave says, I'm terrified to change anything tune-wise with mine. It runs so well. I'm good with the way it is. Absolutely, Dave. And that was a lesson I learned the expensive way. Yeah, I've just let this auto-tune. I just set my max variables of max timing at 32. My idle timing, I think, is at 14. Start crank, I think, is also at 14. Cruise is at 32 as well. I don't care to bleed every last horsepower out of this car like I was trying to do with my 406. My old 406, my best time was a 12.2, and I was trying to see if I could do better and get to 12.1, 12.0s, or maybe even 11s. I don't know if you can read that. It says runs 12s. I do have an runs 11s plates that I've pre-bought, but they're not going on the car until I get an 11-second or 2 11-second time slips, which I should be able to do with this powertrain. Granted, if I can hook. I haven't, like I mentioned earlier, I haven't taken this to the track yet. I am worried about the stock rear end, although a lot of people have posted and replied not to worry about it. They've mentioned what they're running for powertrains and that my rear end should be able to hold up and take it. Part of my problem is I can't afford to blow up the rear end right now. So I'm saving up right now. I want to go with strange axles. I was looking at between Strange and Moser and going with a 12-bolt completely built rear end that I can bolt straight in. That's going to be about 45 to 5,200 Canadian to do that to the Nova. I don't have that kind of money right now, so we're waiting, but I'm working extra jobs to try and get the money for it. I'd love to do it, but it's just not on the radar right now, so I'm really leery of taking it to the track because I don't want to blow it up. At least I can drive and still play with it. Oh, Anton, hey, welcome, buddy. How you doing? I think you're new to joining us. I don't recall your name. Love your Nova, and I love your videos. Just a hypothetical. How much would you sell your number for? Whoa, wow, that is wrong guy to ask, or not, maybe. First of all, thank you very much, and I'm glad you like the Nova and the videos. Are you talking just these videos or my upgrade videos? I just love to talk about Novas and have a chat for them. I wish there was a way we could do with more people, although we have thought about trying to do a Zoom setup, Lou and I and William. Again, thank you very much. What would I sell this for? Now, I'm in Canada, so cars in Canada, of course, go for a lot different than what a car in the States would go for. The Nova, honestly, my friend, I can't give you a number. My dad bought this car new. He drove it for a few years, then I went to my grandfather, and then I got it from my grandfather. He handed it down to me, and it's been in the family since new. I've had it for 27 years. I don't honestly think I could part with it. I'm also not in a position where, I need money. Like maybe if, heaven forbid I lost my job and, I was on the risk of losing the house. I don't know where I'd want to start. I mean, the car needs a lot of body work. It needs quarters. It needs wheel wells. It could probably use door skins. It definitely would need paint. If I was to hypothetically sell it with this powertrain in the Winnipeg, Manitoba market, I would probably ask 15,000 Canadian. Granted, I have 5 figures in the motor just alone. I'd probably say about 15. In saying that as well, with the Olds Omega, now that I've got nice fenders on the front of it and that, and, it's not rusty. I've got a better set of doors. I've yet to install, but I'm going to change those out. That one there, I probably would put that one for sale as well at about 15,000 Canadian. That's where I kind of eyeball what these cars are. Whether or not I get that kind of money, honestly, I don't think I'd probably get around 10 with the Nova, and that's just because of the motor in it. The Omega, the reason I wouldn't let it go for anything less than 15 is I've got a spare motor to go with it. I have another set of doors, fenders to go with it, and now a set of black interior, which I'm hoping to change it over. And if I were to sell the car, I would sell all the parts to go with it. So that's probably why I would ask those kind of amounts. I don't know what kind of Nova do you have, sir? Are you looking at selling yours or something? Or are you looking to buy another one? Oh, okay, your Nova. Okay. Let me scroll back up here. Okay, seat of your pants. Dino says I got more than enough horsepower. Dave, that's awesome. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna tell people my seat of the pants dyno. I am actually looking to run my Nova at a dyno. My buddy Jay is he's got a '73 Nova SS. He just bought it. I met him a few weeks ago. I'm actually trying to get him to join the group. He's got some dyno time coming up, and he's spoke to the guy, and the guy's willing to just hook mine up and make a couple passes on it because I don't want any tuning. So it'd be a pretty easy thing to do. I'm hoping to get some numbers. We'll see what it'll do. So my Nova, Anton, hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If I'm not, I'm sorry. I'm very bad at slaughtering names. I know you guys think that's cheap, but up here in Canada, they don't seem to go for the big bucks that cars in the States would go for. I look, and we got people up here trying to sell parts cars for upwards of $2,500. They need quarters, or the quarters are cut off and inside the car, or the car is completely gutted and it's just a shell. Like if you look at Kijiji.ca and search for Winnipeg, there's a guy selling a '74. The front clip is gone. There's no floors. The trunk or the frame rails are rotten, and he wants $700. Dude, I wouldn't give you $70. Some people, they watch the Bear Jackson and they get a number in their head, and sometimes it's not always realistic. But definitely in the market up here, I don't think I'd get more than probably 10 if I had to sell it. But I would sooner live in the car before ever selling it. Okay. So John Davis, that's cheap. 12,000 US all day long here in California. So yeah. If I were to sell it, I would have to sell it out of province, out of the country, if possible, because I wouldn't be able to see this car, see somebody else drive this car. I really don't know what more I could say on that. Okay. In fact, I even have the bill of sale right on the wall, just behind here. And my dad, when he bought this in. Oh, what's that there? I can't. My eyes are so bad. He bought this March 6th in 1973. That's when he paid for it, and it was $36.25 Canadian. It was ordered back in January. I have the order slips he made for it too, and the production date of this car actually is February 14th, and when it was shipped out was February 15th. So I have all the paperwork and everything. And I love these people at car shows. You ever come across that one guy who always has to one-up you? Oh, yeah, well, I've got this, or I got this. I love those one-upping people, because when they tell me how they have everything for the car, I always come back with the, oh yeah, I have the original owner. Yeah, can't top that one, can you? That's my favorite comeback. Yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, of course, Anton. I got no problem answering any questions, man. Anytime, buddy. Anytime. Oh, missed your other say. The same here. My mom got her 73 new, and now it's mine, so I get the sentimental value. Oh, so yeah, man. The car still has the bite marks from when I was a baby. Oh, that is priceless. Another story for you, Anton. My passenger door, when you open it, drops a little. Well, as a kid, when I was 5 and 6 years old, because the door used to open and the spring broke out. So there's no spring to hold the door open. So when I used to be parked on my parents' driveway on an incline, I used to open the door, jump on it, and hang and swing on it. And now, ever since then, I guess it's worn the door pins a bit. Even though I've changed the door pins, yeah, it still drops a little. And yeah, that's for me swinging on it as a kid. Another time I was washing the car with my mom. We were washing it in the driveway. And I was washing the steel rim with the dog dish hubcap on it. And I guess I just knocked the valve enough that it popped the valve stem. It started leaking and, psss. And, being, 4 or 5 years old, I don't even remember how old I was. I'm just bawling my eyes out. Like, oh my God, I hurt the Nova. And my mom got the jack out, put it on the bumper jack so it wasn't sitting on the rim, and Dad came home and fixed it. But, man, I remember crying like, oh my God, I hurt the Nova. And, oh, the stories I could tell you guys, we could go on for another hour. Wonder how much the Rust Bros up there in Canada want for the blue Nova they've shown on the TV show. Never seen it. I should actually look up, see if that blue Nova's if that show or clip is on YouTube, because I would be very interested in knowing what these cars are going for. I mean, parts cars are going stupid, man. Like my buddy's car there, I gave him $1,000 for it, basically because what I did is he wanted 3 for it, but then he had another number in mind without all the extra parts he had. So I got the car from him with a set of polyurethane bushings, brand new kit, still in the box, a set of Hedman headers, 1 3/4 inch headers, new in a box, and then I got the car. So I based my price off of the fact I was keeping the fenders, I kept the door, and I kept the interior and the bucket seats, and I came up with a number. I figured about $1,000 for the parts, and he was happy with that, and I got a parts car out of that. So, but really, should have got a lot more for that car if he was trying to sell, but nobody really was biting on it, and he just wanted to get rid of it. I didn't really want it. He fought me on it, and eventually I caved at $1,000. Oh, getting back to an earlier discussion, the bench seat out of that car, black bench seat, mint. If I don't put it in the Omega with the black interior, it's actually in my basement right now as a second couch to sit on in the room because it's beautiful. Oh, Rust Valley Restorers on Netflix. Okay, I'm going to have to look that up, Dave. Good to know. And Anton, it's funny you mentioned the sentimental value and the family connections we have to our Novas. There's actually quite a few people within our group Chevy Nova 73, 74 that have inherited their cars from their parents or their grandparents buying the car new. In fact, that might be an interesting post to start. Maybe I'll start a thread there on 73, 74. Talk about your family connections, because there's quite a few people, definitely. What kind of plans do you have for your car? You just is it a perfect car? Or does it need to be fixed up a little like mine is, or do you plan on building it? What kind of things do you have in mind? Oh, 9:30. It's the 2-hour show. We're gonna have to rename this thing to the Chevy Nova 2-hour Nova show. Okay, that was a bad attempt at humor. It's getting late. Forgive me. And I see we're down to 5 viewers here. So let's see. Okay, rusted out roller needs floors, trunk, quarters, 5 to 7K all day long around here. Wow. Now, cars like that, Brian, people are asking 25 to 3,000 up here for that kind of car. 5 to 7K. Wow. Hey, you know what? People want them bad enough, they're going to pay the price, right? That's incredible. That might be another threat to start on the Chevy Nova 7374 forum. Post your pictures of parts cars you've seen for sale at incredible, stupid prices. We're all sell mine. If you're looking on my personal Facebook page, you'll see my dad's old 74 that got ran over by the semi trunk hauling sand. Ooh, I think I've seen that, Dave, because I think we've talked about that before. I hate seeing pictures of smashed up Novas. It breaks my heart because I've had a couple accidents with my Nova, and you know, and I know what my Nova means to me, so it's okay. I can't see that now. I know what it means to me, so it's very tough. I had an accident in '96. I hit a pedestrian right dead center of the hood. Bent the hood in, put the 4 bolts through the outer shell, put the hood latch into the rad, and cracked the grill in half. And the insurance ended up going after the drunk that ran across the street for damages to my car. That got fixed, and then a year later I was driving, and a lady turned right from the left lane. I hit the brakes and tried to swerve, and I caught her with just the corner of the bumper, and it smashed the bumper, bent the bumper up, and wrinkled the fender, and cracked the grill a little. Bent the rad cradle, which they were able to straighten out, thankfully. And so I needed a fender and a bumper, and they were able to fix it for that. And that's why I've got one shiny fender on the car. And then I've never been happy when it came back from that accident because the front bumper was a 74 bumper. And really, cosmetically, it's not much. It's just that these little nostrils are half the size. But what really got me is the chrome wasn't perfect and shiny like my original bumper. And, you know, every time I'm taking pictures of the car and you see the front of the car, I always saw that 74 bumper. And, you know, it always, you know. And then, got in touch with a gentleman I met over the groups, Craig Antonio, and he was selling his Nova. He sold it, and he builds Omegas now. And he had an extra Nova front bumper. So I drove over to the next province, which for you guys is a state in the U.S., and I bought this bumper off of him, and he gave me a sweet deal. And I bolted the bumper on, and to me, after I put that bumper on, man, I cried. I cried like a baby because it was like my Nova was finally fixed. This is how it's supposed to look. And, you know, I'm going to tear up just thinking of it now, man. Because, yeah. So I can relate, yeah. Hey, Patrick, how you doing, buddy? The leader of the Team Black there with this black 74 Nova. Running Kragers on it, I believe, right now. Nice of you to join us, Pat. Yeah, we're 2 hours into the show, so you're more than late. And, okay, okay, let me go back here. Got mine off a guy, drove it home for under $3,000. Cool. My mom got it for 2000. We needed some TLC to make it the same Chevy's color with the same inline 6. Oh, that's cool. You definitely got to post some pictures of that because I don't remember your Nova. I do try hard to try and remember everybody's Nova because I want to give people the proper respect when they come in and know what, you know, I know what they're talking about. So if you can, sir, take some pictures of that Nova. I would love to see it. While we're talking price of cars, the Omega, I bought that car originally as a parts car in 2005 for the Nova because I wanted the doors off of it. I got the car. It needed quarters. The quarters were so raw. And if you guys want to look at it, a shameless plug, and I know I'm getting outside of Chevy Nova 7374. oldsomega.ca/slowmega. You can see what this car looked like when I bought it. It was a brown car. It even had stickers on the side that said Consumer Care Made Service. And then I gave the guy an extra $200 for all his parts. So in a sense, I guess you could say I paid $400 for the car. And we took it to a friend's place and we started taking it apart. And, we're like, what parts are we going to save? And, we got to this part, we got to this part. And next thing you know, it's kind of like, this car's actually not that bad a shape. It came with quarter panels. Why don't we learn to weld? So out comes the angle grinder. We cut off the quarters. We cut off the wheel wells. We buy some wheel wells. And we know nothing of what we're doing. One of our buddies kind of guided us, and later I found out he had no idea what he was doing, but he proved me proved me wrong. I thought he was an expert. And the next thing you know, $2,000 later, Canadian, and 3.5, 4 months, we got the car on the road. It only had an inline 6 when I got it. Then we put a 305 in it because we couldn't get the car to go faster than about 30 miles an hour. It would not go, it barely got up to 30. And then we tried doing the tune-up, rebuilding the carb, all the basic stuff. None of that worked. And I got a 305 out of a Parisian, out of one of my buddy's winter beater cars. We put that in, and then we started racing it, and it was running 16 and 17 seconds in the quarter mile. And then slowly over the years, it gets the leftover parts for the Nova, or I've bought new parts for it, and now it's a 13-second car that my dad races at the track. So it's come a long way. I mean, for a car that should have gone to the junker and it started as a parts car, it's now the rolling parts car for the Nova. Because if I need a part for the Nova quickly, I'll pull it off the Omega. Brian, so I am Team Black or Team Blue? Technically, it's gloss black, but packed with blue pearl. Brian, that's a good question. I'm going to say Team Black because then we have an alliance. Team Blue, I'm still a little sore with the Team Blue group. I don't know how long you've been a part of the group for. Last summer, at the end of May, I severed my Achilles getting out of the car at a store in the parking lot. And I wrote up a big story of how the Team Blue planned an assassination attempt on the leadership of Team Green, because Team Green and Team Blue are always at odds. And so, we have our play hatred that, I hate blue, and they hate green and that. So, it's all in good fun. But I've always been a green person because I grew up with the car, right? But, and then I am also an affiliated member of Team Black because I got Slowmega. There we go. So yeah, we're all friends here. Oh, you know what? We got to start that color war up again. I kind of missed those posts and, with Team Red coming in and all that. I miss all that stuff. So, Brian, I assume you live close to Seattle. Oh, nice. So you're out on the West Coast, I believe, if my geography is correct. And you guys just got an NHL team. Hey! Now, I know that might not mean much to you, but up here in Canada, hockey is like next to religion up here. Well, folks, we've gone well over the hour mark. It's been about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So if there's nothing else, I'm going to wrap things up. Or if there's any more questions of that, I guess speak now. Yeah, Pat, it's nice to have you here. Glad you could join us. I don't know if you're going to go back and watch it or not, but like I tell other people, if you are going back to rewatch the video on Facebook, you'll see the chat will appear as the video is being played. I do try to go back and answer the chats and answer to comments if depending what they are. And also, if you do have questions about anything I've discussed or want pictures of certain things I've discussed, feel free to just direct message me or PM me or DM or whatever they're calling it now. Send me a message and I'll do my best to try and get you an answer or a picture. Yes, the Seattle Kraken. Yeah, I'm a big Winnipeg Jets fan here, of course, being from Winnipeg. So, it'll be fun. We'll have to trash talk each other when our teams play. If you're a hockey fan, it doesn't matter if you are or not, whatever. And Pat says he'll be at the next one. All right, Pat. You know, it is my fault too, Pat. I don't know if you like being called Pat or Patrick. Sorry. It is my fault as well because I just kind of dropped this on Monday, going, "Hey, I'm going online on Wednesday." I really got to do a better job of posting this ahead of time, maybe and better schedule these things and or plan them, and we might have more viewers and maybe some content too, other than just general chat. But Dave Williams is taking off. Good night, everybody. Good night, Dave. Thank you for joining us, and again, thank you for all you do. Everybody who has joined us tonight, thank you very much. Brian Williams, thank you. I believe you've been here since the start. Anton, thank you for joining us. I believe this is your first. I like I said, I don't remember your name showing up, but I appreciate you joining us, and of course, being a member of our group. We'll always appreciate members. And there's John Davis. I believe you were a first timer too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but thank you as well for joining us. And then yeah, Christina was on earlier. Oh, chat only goes back so far. Okay, sorry. I really hate that I don't remember everybody that's on here, but yeah, again, I just want to thank everybody who does take a moment to join me on this. I just like to yap. If I can help you, great. If our members can help you in chat or whatever, great as well. I really appreciate you folks being a part of the Chevy Nova 7374 group. If you're watching this outside of Facebook, to join our group, you got to have a Facebook account, Chevy Nova 73-74, and we do verify that you are an owner. So we need pictures of your car, and also you got to agree to the rules. And there's a bunch of questions on the login that must be filled up before we'll even entertain the thought of letting you join. But even if you just go to our YouTube channel and watch these videos, thank you very much for watching them. Leave a comment if you want, or reach out to me. I got a website for the car here, chevynova.ca. I do try my best to answer all emails if and when I do get them, but everything's kind of social media now. So yeah, look me up on Facebook. I'm easy to find, David Meyer. You'll find the Nova. Send me a message, and we'll go from there. So again, thanks again, everybody. And what's that saying I use? Oh yeah, smoke tires, not drugs. And we'll catch you again next time. Take care.